Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gamersledge podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mark. It's been a long winter's break, but we're back. And hi, everybody, and thanks for sticking with us through the break. And joining us today also is, as I get his nameplate up so that it actually appears when it should be when he talks, because he's going to talk for a long time. It's Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt. Hi, me. I'm talking. Did my nameplate appear? Hi.
Yeah, that worked. And then last but not least, I also got to do the same thing, get his nameplate way up there so that it shows up when he talks. Last but not least, it's Keegan. Hi, Keegan.
Hello. How is everyone?
Good, except apparently your nameplate was so far up there, or so far down there, that it did not. It did
Show
not
up.
It did not show up. I don't know why. Hooray for technology. And my understanding of it.
Do I need to say hello again?
No, it's just not. I'm actually checking. Oh, it's because I must have moved the file. It's not there. I'll find it.
That would make it difficult for it to show up.
It would make it very difficult for it to show up. So we have a ton of stuff to talk about, but more than that, we need to talk about what we've been doing since last we gathered in these hallowed halls. And I'll let Keegan, why don't you start first?
Okay, so I've been gone a while, so there's quite the list of anime. I'll try and just breeze through them quickly. So there's Maid-sama, Grimgar, Darker Than Black, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, ReZero, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Steins Gate, Bungo Stray Dogs, The Day I Became a God, Tonokawa, Over the Moon for You, Black Clover, and Attack on Titan.
So what I'm inferring from that list is you don't watch other TV, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I watch anime.
What did you think about Bungo Stray Dogs?
I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for next season.
I'm actually.
I'd say my favorite character is what's his name? It's a guy that you go the first backstory guy. The guy that could see into the future. Oda.
Oh, Oda.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, Oda. My favorite character was Oda.
Yeah. No, I like that one surprised me out of the blue. Matt, I think you would enjoy that one actually quite a bit as well. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly. It's kind of about super heroes, kind of.
It's
a
based
superhero
off
detective agency, basically.
Yeah, basically it's designed off of a bunch of authors, and then they have powers based off of their writing.
This is that
basically.
one. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. But yeah, no, that's cool. That's a lot of. And you said Steins Gate.
Yep, Steins Gate. Yeah, that actually became my number one anime. That is just, you get past like episode 6 and you're hooked, and then 12 and get episode 12, you can't let go after that.
And then I heard Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yep, my brother and I, over the last couple of weeks of break, have been watching that. Then we just started Attack on Titan.
And which brother are you, and which brother is Mitchell?
What? Oh, so Mitchell is probably closer to Edward, I'd guess, and I'm probably closer to Alphonse.
Okay, that's fair. And what was the end of your list? Because there was something else I heard.
Attack on Titan, Black Clover, Tonokawa, Over the Moon for You, The Day I Became a God.
The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime.
Yeah, with that, which is always the funniest named anime, but no, that wasn't it. There was something else, but that's okay. That's cool. That's a lot of anime.
Grimgar.
That's a lot of anime.
Yep. But it's also been a long time since I've been on here.
That is also true. That is also true.
Okay. to the manga have read, it's actually a fairly short list. So I have Seven Deadly Sins. It was one of my Christmas presents, the first 5 volumes, and My Hero Academia Vigilante, also a Christmas present. Then there's Twilight Princess, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
The manga?
Yes, the
Got it.
manga. Yep.
Manga.
Oh yeah, and then I've also read the first couple volumes of Fairy Tale 100-Year Quest, which is the sequel to Fairy Tale.
You know, Keegan, I'm from Chicago, right?
Okay.
So I have to say it manga.
Okay.
Even though
I mean-
I speak Japanese, I know it's manga. But I'm from Chicago, and do you want to pull a sausage? So I got to say manga.
I got it. Okay. For games, I have played Chaos Head. Just finished that a couple days yesterday, 2 days ago, a couple days ago. Yeah, it's a visual novel. It's a part of the Steins Gate series. Basically, there's a whole bunch of visual novels that happen within the same universe as Steins Gate.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first of the ones. Then I've just started Tales of Vespero. I don't know if I said that right.
Vesperia, isn't it? I think
Yeah,
it's
something like
Vesperia.
that.
That might be it. Vesperia. Yeah, that sounds
Vesperia
right.
and Vesperia, yeah.
But yeah, I just started that. I played Miles Morales Spider-Man. I also recently started Persona 5.
What do you think
My
about that?
brother and I have played Jump Force and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate here and there. I have played some Immortal Phoenix Rising on the Switch. And I've played some Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity with my brother Mitchell.
And what did you think about Persona 5?
I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm 15 hours in now and just finished the first boss.
So if you finish that one and you find you like it, then you really should pick up Persona 4 Gold. Because they are separate games, but the aesthetic and the feel is pretty similar. This I'd say 5 has more of a oh my god, classic anime ship, space, pirates, captain.
You've lost me, man.
The most famous space anime of all time.
Macross?
No.
Cowboy
Cowboy
Bebop?
Bebop.
Gundam?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
that one. Okay.
Yes.
Well, there's
Cowboy Bebop
okay.
has 5 has a much more Cowboy Bebop kind of feel to it, but
Yes.
that's probably the most different thing in 5 versus 4. But like all of them, the character development is really good. The story is pretty decent. So if you find at the end of this you are fully satisfied and would like to have another experience like that, I can't recommend 4 Gold enough.
Okay, I'll have to check that out after I finish Persona 5.
Yes.
Which
in a
is,
couple
only
years.
about another 100 hours in your future.
Right. At least.
100 hours that I don't have in my future.
Says the person who watched 92 anime series. Matt, I don't think you can say anything about my black hole time vortex thing.
Yeah, he's a kid. They all have virtual vortex.
I do that after I'm supposed to be asleep. That's how I find time to watch manga. Read it. I was gonna say read anime.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I basically do read my anime, doing that I do sub, for the most part. So I technically do read my anime.
Subs, not dubs. There was another game that you had mentioned in your list. With not
Spider-Man.
No.
Tales.
Oh, Tales. Yeah, with a quick question about that. Is that your first Tales game?
Uh,
Oh, what
You
happened?
cut out, Keegan.
I'm muted somehow. I muted somehow. Yeah, it's my first Tales game.
Okay.
I also, because there was a sale and I had some extra Steam dollars, I also got Tales of, I don't know how to say it, but it starts with a B,
Rosaria.
Bulgaria,
Rosaria.
Bazaria,
I believe
and
so.
then another Tales game. So I have 3 Tales games to play through.
I know the other thing I was going to ask you about what you said. Did you get Sephiroth on Smash?
No, I do not have the current DLC pass, though my brother does, and we've been playing on his system. So, my brother has had difficulties beating me with Sephiroth. Uh, he has a long reach, but he also has lots of openings.
Tell Mitchell he's fired from the podcast.
What?
Nothing. Just kidding. I said tell Mitchell he's fired from the podcast
Ah.
because he's playing Sephiroth wrong if he can't beat you. He's like an end boss. He should be able to beat you.
Well,
Yeah.
Keegan is also he plays Link basically 98% of the time, and he can do things with Link that seem to break the rules of the game.
I'm good at Link, I guess.
All right then.
I know his timings, I know his openings, I know how to avoid his openings when I can.
Nice. Well, did you play anything else?
Did I play anything else? I don't think so.
Matt,
I think I said everything I played. I guess if we go into mobile games, I have also been playing Fate Grand Order, which is another gacha game. You summon servants, which are historical beings with power based off of their story.
My New Year's resolution for 2021 is to swear off all gotcha games.
That's a fair resolution.
It's a noble goal.
Yeah. Matt, how about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I am filling our role of a man of refinement this evening, so
You know, it does look like watered down apple juice.
it's a Japanese whiskey, so it's very
Oh.
very light.
Yeah.
It's invisible right now.
Well, yeah, the
Incredibly
background,
light.
but yeah, it is. But it's got it's a sweeter finish than and then an Irish or a Tennessee whiskey, but it's still pretty. I need the ice. Let's put it that way. All right. So I did not mark where I left off here last week, so I'm going to guess that I think the last thing I probably updated was that I platinumed Bug Snacks.
Nice.
So I've been playing Days Gone off and on. I had totally forgotten that Sam Witwer was the main character. I'm like, man, who's this guy that they got that sounds just like Sam Witwer? No, it's Sam Witwer. That's who they got. And once he shaved the beard down, I'm like, oh yeah, that's his face. They used the likeness too. With all the scruff on, I couldn't tell. But so that's pretty fun. I'm playing on the PS5. It's part of the Plus collection that you get as a Plus member on PS5. Looks amazing. The patch for the PS5 for that game. It's still the PS4 version, but the PS5 patch for it. The backgrounds and everything are just gorgeous. There is still some jank in the game. There's some weird stuff that'll happen now and then. The enemy AI is a bit overly aggressive. It's got the I can see you through walls superpower sometime. And the snipers are just ridiculous. It's not a perfect game even still after the patches and everything, but it's still fun. And I like it. And the main character with, just the most ridiculous name ever, Deacon St. John, who is trying to be this badass all the time. And every time somebody catches him in a moment, you see that facade break and you see the actual person underneath all of that. And it's pure Witwer. I mean, when he gets down to his base character, it's pure Sam Witwer, which is just kind of hilarious. But yeah, freakers are zombies. What can I say? Um, I've seen this game several times, and I was very, very, very curious about it. And on this last holiday sale, it was like $2.19. So I just said, "What the heck?" And I bought Cat Quest. It turns out, after playing for about 5 seconds, I said, "I think this is a port of a mobile game." Guess what? It's a port of a mobile game. That said, it's actually a really solid little Zelda-like almost. I mean, like old Legend of
Hmm.
Zelda-like. You play a cat who is the dragon something. It's essentially dragonborn from Skyrim, and you have to stop the bad guys and beat the dragons. Other than that, you're a cat going on quests. It's quest the game. You just constantly get a quest, go do the quest, get a quest, go do the quest, get a quest, go do the quest. It's all the overmap and the combat's all one place. So you're roaming around this isometric overmap and you're doing combat with enemies there. There's a bit of a timing game to it because you see the enemies area. All their attacks are basically area effect, and you see that area fill up, and when the area fills up, then the attack goes off. So it's not turn based, but it's not fully real time either.
Hmm.
So there's a bit of a timing game there to get worked in. And then you get gear, you get stronger gear. It does have that kind of gotcha thing where if you get the same gear twice, it strengthens up the gear, but it just does it automatically. You don't have to go through the process of fusing them or whatever or anything. But I gotcha, Cat. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. But it was a fun little game. I platinumed it in like a day and a half. So I mean, it was pretty simple little platinum there. There is a Cat Quest 2. It's still like $9, which is above my pay level for what that it is. But we'll see. It was a fun little break to have there. Over the break, my daughter and I played and platinumed Lego Batman 3.
I know because
Beyond
I
Gotham.
managed to interrupt you or annoy you every time you sat down to play it. So my bad.
No, that's fine. It was uncanny because every time it's like, we just started. I can't not yeah. Because when your teenage daughter wants to play video games with you, you play video games with
Yeah.
your
Yep.
teenage daughter.
Yep.
That's how that works.
Yep.
So yeah, that's been one of the things we've had on the books for a while, and we just dug into it and played the crud out of it. We had all the DLC too, which was pretty much garbage, but we got all the trophies for that too. So all the characters, 100% at everything, all the trophies. So that was good. That was fun. It was a good time getting through that. That was like her one goal for the holiday break because of course she has to go back at the same time. The rest of us have to go back to work. She had to go back to school. None of this long break stuff for her. I also, through the generosity of Senior Keegan there, played some Immortals Phoenix Rising. It's a pretty fun, solid little game. I don't know why it seems to be flying kind of under the radar. I mean, it's rating well, it's fun, it is definitely heavily influenced by Breath of the Wild. The controls are a little wonky. Um,
Yeah.
but outside of that, and they say press X, and I have to remember, oh crud, which button's X on this controller? Um, so there's a little bit of button confusion because I do so much gaming on
Hmm.
PlayStation. Um, but it's the highlight of the game, and I don't think this isn't a spoiler really, but the game is narrated by Zeus and Prometheus,
Right.
and the writing for those two characters is hilarious, and it's just played to the nines too by the voice actors. I don't know who the voice actors are. I haven't looked that up, but it's played to the nines. They do these pseudo little Greek accents on everybody, so it's got that little twist to it. Um, you get to choose whether to make Phoenix a male or female character. There's one voice per gender. Um, and then, just all the slight differences of the outfits depending on which body style you take. Um,
There's four faces which look identical.
Yeah, the customization is pretty minor. Basically, the only thing you really have control over is hairstyle, color, and eye color. The other things you have control over are so insignificant you can't even really tell. Um, but yeah, that I mean, I'm only gosh, I haven't even unlocked the first god yet, and there's four gods to unlock, and so I am not far in this at all. This is a huge game. I mean, this is a Breath of the Wilds meets Far Cry. right? You climb to the top of a tall statue and you just look through this, focused view you have, and you just start marking stuff all over the map. There's a thing here, there's a thing there, there's a thing there, there's a thing there, and then it's clear the map, right? Yeah, it's a standard Ubisoft model, but with Breath of the Wild style gameplay and mechanics. But it does remove the things that frustrated me most about Breath of the Wild, namely destructible weapons and absolute lack of any real actual story moving on there. And there's a glide, so you could play it because there's a glide. You have to earn it. You don't get it right away, but it's early on.
But I still need you to play Genshin Impact because it's free.
I tried it. I have to try it on the PS5 because on my PS4 it was just glippy. So
that's right. You had weird problems with it. But yeah. I mean, the only thing lacking from that list is probably the story. That's probably the weakest element of it, but the rest of it is all there. So
yeah, well, that and it's got a character collection thing too. That's right. Kind of
gotcha. Yeah. But I hear you.
Is that included in the gacha games you're excluding from your life, Mark?
So I actually am not currently actively playing Genshin Impact. I may go back to it because it's been long enough that there's other stuff. But I already have like a super kick-ass team, so I should be okay without spending any money on it. So that's fine. Just no new ones moving forward.
Other than whatever you get free pulls at some certain points in the game, don't you? You get free pulls. But...
You do. They actually give you a lot of free pulls, which is surprising.
And then we've been playing some Fortnite off and on here. So a little bit of that. Still feeling like I'm probably not going to get to the Baby Yoda, but we'll see. Maybe
you've got till like the end of March, so you should be good.
Yeah. But I'm still only like level 40, so it's like,
if we get you on a little bit more, it should be good.
Yeah, you got to play more than once a week. That's the trick there. So that was that. On books, I finished book 3 of the Expanse series, which is Abaddon's Gate. Started book 4, which I forget the title. There it is, Cibola Burn. I really enjoy their writing style. I really enjoy the way that the books are written. I'm really interested to try and read because the author of the book is a pseudonym for two fantasy authors that are co-writing the series. And I'm really interested to read one of each of their books and see if I can identify whose voice comes through more in the writing or if it's truly a unique voice of the two of them together. But I just really enjoy the way they write dialogue and build characters. Again, it's the most realistic science fiction thing that's happened in forever.
Yeah.
And while at this point the series and the book series have diverged fair amount, they're still pretty freaking awesome. They're both very, very, very awesome. Let's see. We watched Prospect on Netflix, which is basically a science fiction short story starring Pedro Pascal, doing his imitation of Malcolm Reynolds type guy, but a bit more roguish, like legitimately roguish. But I mean, the way he phrases, like the way he's talking is a straight ripoff of Nathan Fillion's Mal from Firefly. So, but that was enjoyable. It's a little on the darker side. But it was very much like the other thing that I watched, Midnight Sky. Midnight Sky was too long. But again, it was a very similar thing. It was a very short story-ish type thing given video form. Not as good. I'd say Prospect was better. But I still enjoyed Midnight Sky. I think it just drug on too long and the catch was way obvious. I called it about 2 seconds after the thing appeared. I called what it was, didn't I, Keegan?
What?
The Midnight Sky, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, after about 2 seconds after the one thing appeared, I called what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not unique, but it was a decent little story. Then we also watched the Pixar film Soul, which launched on Disney Plus. That is excellent. And I finally got around to watching John Wick Chapter 2. Had not watched it till
Really?
now.
All right then.
And immediately after watching it, ordered Chapter 3, which just showed up, and so we'll be
Nice.
watching that
Yeah.
sometime soon.
Though Mitchell has to catch up on 2.
Yeah, because he was at work. I actually thought 4 was already out for some reason too,
Oh,
but
no,
yeah, that
no.
got caught up in the COVID nonsense.
No.
So yeah, so 4 is a bit in the future yet still. For games played, I tried out one of the plus games for this month, Maneater, the shark Jaws simulator type thing.
Yep.
That's an interesting little thing. I don't know that I'll keep playing it. It's a weird little thing. It's got some decent mechanics, but it is a bit on the jank side. Yeah, that's really, I guess, all I've got to say about that. TV show side, we finished The Mandalorian season 2. Have you gotten past episode 1 yet?
Yes.
Yes, you have. Episode 2.
Episode 2.
All right. Progress.
At this rate, I'll be ready for season 3 when it comes out.
It's a reminder.
1 episode a month.
Was episode 2 the Kyrat Dragon?
No, that was
I
episode
thought that
1.
was episode 1.
That was episode 1. Okay, what's episode 2?
Episode 2. Oh, episode 2 is the Ice Planet one.
Oh, Ice Planet 1. Yes.
Spiders?
Okay.
Yes.
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 Not for arachnophobes.
No. And someone was saying today, Mandalorian's not gory. I'm like, yeah, it's not horror gory. Like when you shoot somebody, there's not blood that flies out of them. But it's gory in many other ways. Like
Yes.
just not horror gory. It's just yeah.
Disturbing in certain ways, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's as far as I made it.
That's as far as you made it. Well, that's better than before. So I've been watching Cursed, which is a Netflix show starring the chick from 13 Reasons Why, whose name has completely escaped my brain at the moment. But Catherine, no. But anyway, can't think of her. Totally can't. Normally can rattle her name right off, and I can't think of it right now.
Catherine Zeta-Jones?
No.
Oh.
Although what did she join? She just joined some project. We'll have to look that up for the news because I forgot. I saw that Catherine Zeta-Jones just joined something that I thought was interesting. The Expanse season 5. We watched through episode 5, which was all that was available the last time we looked. I think I should have a new episode here to check out probably
Yes.
now. I finished an anime. The Promised
Nice.
Neverland. It's only 1 season, but I finished it.
Oh yeah, season 2's coming out right now.
Is it coming out right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Matt,
okay. Well,
did
hey, I
you-
finished it before season 2 came out. So
Did you ever watch Goblin Slayer?
I have not yet.
I have not either.
Really need and keep in mind episode 1 is to world build and build controversy to get the show popular. It never, like, episode 1 has some questionable things in it, but it never goes back to that level ever again. So I really think they did it on purpose just
a shock value.
just to
get-
shock
put the
value to
name
get
out there.
people talking about it, and it worked. I mean,
Yep, it definitely worked.
It got a lot of eyeballs on it because of the nature of it, but it's never gets back to that ever again after that first episode. So that's all I'll say about that. But like seriously, I want to make a Dungeons and Dragons character that is Goblin Slayer. You need to watch this. It's amazing.
So is it as disturbing as the first Palace's boss? That kind of disturbing?
No, it's basically.
I may talk to him later.
yeah, it's definitely not family friendly. Let's put it that way.
Okay, fair enough. And then, last but not least, this will surprise you because I have to admit I have never seen this stem to stern, but Mobile Suit Gundam. I have never seen the original Mobile Suit Gundam end to end.
All right.
I've
then.
seen bits and chunks and parts, but I've never seen it in a row. And with Sony's acquisition of anime studios left and right, that is now available for me to watch.
Nice.
So so I'm watching Mobile Suit Gundam. I think I'm like 10 episodes in or something. It's usually something I throw on after I do workouts or something because I'm laying there dying and I can lay on the ground and read words while people speak funny moon script language.
For many people, that is the required state in order to watch anime.
Face down on the floor, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
dying. It's fine.
Dying.
There's nothing wrong with anime, but a lot of people stigmatize it for some reason. I don't know why.
Yep.
And then I don't think we haven't. I'm having to cross the end of my 2020 stuff watched and done with the beginning of my 2021 lists, and I have not written down anything for TV shows for 2021 yet. That's new from the 2020 list. So either I'm forgetting, or we haven't started anything yet.
I don't think
we've
started.
We've got The Rookie on the DVR waiting to get watched. We've got Prodigal Son sitting on the DVR waiting to get watched, but we haven't actually started them yet.
Yeah.
So. Oh, we did watch Doctor Who. We watched the the New Year's episode of Doctor Who. Spoilers, so I guess I won't say much about it. But as a holiday type episode thing, it was pretty good. Wasn't the best episode ever. Some callback stuff. But I mean, it did. I have to wait and see where the next season goes to see if it did what I think they were doing with it. If they did, it was kind of a waste of a whole thing. But anyway,
great
tap dancing.
Great.
And then I have to call this out because some of us from my folks got an extra package for Christmas. And I was the one to figure out the connectivity between the people that got a package and the people that didn't. But my mom hand-stitched these for the Star Wars fans in the family. That's
cool.
He's even got little feet. And so, yeah, I got a little crocheted Baby Yoda. And Keegan's got one somewhere, too. That's probably what he's...
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that's that I think pretty much covers it. I do have Cyberpunk, but it's still wrapped in the shrink wrap. I'm waiting for the January patch before I throw it in, and just then I'll get going on it.
Got it. Well, speaking of, you owe me an apology.
I do.
Yes. Because you were very mean and very rude to me regarding Cyberpunk 2077. And I believe your exact words, well, it's okay, he'll never finish it.
Yeah, I believe that those were words because, open world games, you tend to not finish. So it was a fairly safe gamble.
Yeah, except that I did finish it. I have finished the first ending anyways. I have it at the save point where I could do more different endings, and I'm planning on doing so. I very much am still of the opinion that if you own a high-end PC, play it on the high-end PC. If you own a PS5, that's fine, play it on the PS5. If you own it on a base PS4, just wait a year. Probably. Or base PS4 or base Xbox. I have it for the PS5. I'm probably going to start in on it soon. I'm just trying to figure out when and how exactly with all the other stuff we got going on, but we'll see that. I played a bunch of games. Spellbreak, which is another battle royale that uses magic. Is all right.
Realm Royale was better?
Realm Royale is better, by far. It wasn't bad, it's just, I don't know, you hit that point of diminishing returns on the fun side of things, and this wasn't far enough that it made it more fun somehow. I don't know. Then we played another one called Vigor, which is, I think, set in World War II or a war or something. It's in a Russian mountaintop area with villages and stuff. It was definitely not desirable to play. It was. I mean, it was fine. It just had PS2 graphics, and the controls and the tutorials were not well done. And they would put. Do you remember? Do you remember playing Left 4 Dead?
Yeah.
And you would need to find where the exit was.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's how they decided to do their maps. Is you could. Okay, let me back up just a little bit because this is a little bit more complicated to explain. So it's one of those games that's hyper realistic in that if you die, you lose everything. You lose everything in your loadout, it's gone. And drops, like every other battle royale game, happen. And if you grab all the stuff out of the drops, you can't open it on the battlefield. You have to get off the battlefield back to your safe zone before you can open it and see what you got. And so the thing that sucks in this game is that once you grab the drop, everyone can see you on the minimap.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And because they're in different maps all the time, you may not know what the closest exit is. And an example is Ken had picked up, well, actually, I had picked up the drop, and then, of course, somebody killed me. Ken killed them and took the drop from them, and he ran to get out, but it was up on a cliff, and there was a broken bridge to get to it, and he couldn't jump over the broken bridge part to get out, and eventually died because he fell so many times trying to jump over the thing. So it was not great, sadly.
Wow.
I kind of like some of the ideas they did, but for the most part, it was very barren, very sparse for weapons and stuff like that. So not my cup of tea there either. I also played some Fortnite, a lot of Fortnite, actually. I purchased during that big holiday end year sale. They had a sale going on Fuser, which is Rock Band's Harmonix's next game that they made, which is a DJ turntable mixing game where you have 4 different turntables and you basically are throwing a show at one of the big Euro festivals. And I enjoy it a lot, and it is wholeheartedly a Harmonix game because they took something fun and then threw so many controls onto it, I feel like I'm drowning now. So I do think it's fun, but it's a little weird. In the community stuff that gets shared is only like 20 seconds long, and you can't really share anything on YouTube or Twitch because it'll get you copyright struck. So it's like, it's fun and I want to show people, but at the same time I can't because I get copyright striked. So it's like, okay.
That's a pain.
It is a little bit of a pain. Played some Farm Together with the missus. That game is like way better than it has any right to be. I can't recommend it. It's cheap. It's fun. It has split screen multiplayer. It has online co-op. It's quite good. I'm curious. I'm going to look to see how much it is on the PlayStation Store right now because it's literally like not much. As my bitrate plummets, and I don't know if I'm still on the air. Yes, I am. Okay, good. My internet.
Last 40 minutes didn't happen.
No, it's not that. It's like, I'll be fine. I'll be like broadcasting at 1080p, 60 frames a second, no problem. And then all of a sudden it goes, and dies down to 200 kilobits per second. Yeah. It's like, and then it finds like some kind of bounce back in the middle, and then it eventually go back to 6. I don't know what's going on with it. Oh, what did I say? Farm together. Well, guess what? You're not going to be able to hear how much Farm Together is because I own it, and PlayStation does not ever show you the price, even on their web store, if you already own the game in question. This is like,
hold on,
one of the weirdest things.
They don't want to let you know what deals you're missed out on if you would have waited.
At least they fix the thing so that if you claim something under PlayStation Now and they throw it out on Plus, you can now claim it you go into the details and add the library instead of having to call and have them cancel your license. And it is currently $20 for the base game. There's a bunch of packs, which
and the packs are all clothing.
Packs are like $4 a head.
They don't
like $4 a piece.
Yeah, they don't affect anything. Well, they give you more like, how do I say that? They give
cosmetic.
At times they will give you buildings that you can put on. So like if you buy the circus pack, then you can actually have a circus in your farm, if that's what you want to do, right? You don't have to do that, but if you want to, it comes with a bunch of outfits for your people, and then you can have circus buildings. What else? I finished Watch Dogs Legion. I can't remember if I had finished it by the last podcast or not, but I also finished that.
So.
Yeah, so I also finished that. I think that is a just fine game. Like it's like
Did it live up to the hype? Did it live up to the you can take anyone and they're all unique and awesome, or did it end up being they're just the same class with a different skin?
I think the short answer to that, well, so the two separate questions. Did it live up to the hype? I think it did. I'd rate it probably like out of a 10, I'd probably give it an 8.5. Okay. It's fun. The hacking is fun. And the sad part is it actually ruined me for Cyberpunk hacking. Because it's better than Cyberpunk 2077's hacking system. So that's kind of like that was a little bit of a thing that I was like, all right, they should have just lifted that. I bought the ultra expensive King Kamehameha version, and to answer your question, I can see how people who don't have an imagination and don't have a strong sense of, I'm not trying to insult anyone. I'm trying to I'm trying to illustrate, like, if you are completely passive in your game playing and your imagination does not, if you are not a build the story of your own as you go kind of person, then I can understand that people would get bored and say, yes, they're all these people are pretty much the suck, and that's the thing. But for me, I started out with a guy named Justin, and Justin had the ability to do faster hacks. So I knew that he could get into stuff faster than somebody else could. He only has that one skill, faster hacks. That's it. I bought the King Kamehameha edition. It came with 4 characters that were basically the gold legendary characters versus the white, in rarity value, white, green, blue, purple, gold. Justin's just got his one little skill, but he was the only character I had or had access to for the first probably 1/5 of the game. And so Justin was my dude. Right? I didn't want to kick him off the team or not use him because he's the one that helped me build DedSec back up to get these other people in and start going. So I kind of felt loyalty to him, if that makes sense, not to just like not use him. Now, granted, once I got the King Kamehameha characters, I didn't use him as often, but if somebody got arrested or somebody had to go be in the hospital because I screwed up or whatever and accidentally jumped them off a tower, then then I'd go back to Justin. I put Justin in like really cool cosmetic outfit. He looked badass, and no one would seem to like comment on the fact that he was a neon skull in a suit of armor as he was walking out and around the place, because that's something they don't really notice is any of the cosmetic armor you get. But the point is that Justin was part of my team. Granted, he was the like baby steps part of my team, but he was still part of my team. And so there were certain other characters that I quickly gravitated to. Did I recruit a lot of people? No, I think I only recruited about 15. And the most that you can have is 40 or 45, something like that. And to be honest, the way they made the game, collecting people off the street, unless it's for a mission, is not the way that the game encourages you to do it. They don't encourage you to just pick up anybody. You can, right? Especially if you're playing in hardcore mode, where if they get captured or die or get hurt, then they're gone forever. But what it actually encourages you to do is that there are collectibles in every zone, and it there are collectibles or another goal that it gives you in every zone to complete that zone. And once you do, it gives you a purple person. So they have like 3 skills or whatever. So basically that's what the game kind of steers you towards is, yes, you can collect people off the street if you want to, but you're going to have a better time if you actually complete the quest requirements in a specific area, because maybe you want the beekeeper, right? There's a person who is a beekeeper who is actually a scientist who has holographic bees that are used to make people think they're getting attacked, so that it's a great distraction tool. And so, or if you complete this zone, you get an MI6 spy or MI5 spy, whatever that number is, MI whatever. So you get a spy who has like spy watches that blow stuff up and a spy car that has rockets and stuff like that. So the game kind of steers you towards that, as opposed to you expecting to get a random schmub off the street and have them be awesome. No, that's generally not the case. But the game is fun, and they made it so that, I mean, I got a friend that's playing it still now, and he goes in guns blazing into everything, and he's gotten his characters built to the point that he can do it, right? He just runs in, murders everybody. I'm still doing it like Solid Snake style, where I'm like sneaking in. I don't ever actually go into the premises if I don't have to, and I just throw my little spider bot down, and I use him to control everything in there. I set traps for people and then lure them into the traps so they get not killed. Well, you can kill them if you want to, but usually I do the non-lethal stuff because that's just kind of the way I play. And yeah, I had a great time with it. Cyberpunk 2077, I finished that and I got to my first ending. And I think that is one hell of a game. I know there's a lot of negativity and stuff on it. I have never experienced any of the bugs that anyone's talking about. Especially if you watch a lot of those meme videos, like that one where cars are dropping from the sky and then he's immediately blown into the cops, and then he's wanted, and then he goes out into the road and another car falls and blows up and the guy gets out. He's like, hi, and then blows up, his head explodes. None of that. I have had none of that. I've not had a single... The only bug that I have had is there are certain missions where you have to wait 24 hours for the person to contact you. I have to actually quit the game and go back into the game, and then it will trigger after I've waited the 24 hours. That's the only bug I've experienced the entire time I have played. The graphics are amazing. Did they rush it out? Yes. Can you see what they were aiming for? yes. Is what they got into the game still damn impressive? Yes. I was the biggest one that was sad about net running, because net running in Cyberpunk is its own mini game, right? It's this thing where you go into another virtual world and you basically run through Persona level. I mean, Persona level, or better yet, not Persona. What's the other one from same company? With the penguin. Disgaea. Yeah, it's Disgaea, where you're going through a dungeon, a randomly generated dungeon level, and you get to the stairs at the end and go up one floor, and then see what's on that level, and you go up to until you get to the end of the thing. That is how net running is built in Cyberpunk. So I was super excited to do that in the game, and of course that is nowhere in the game. So,
Oof.
Instead it's more like Watch Dogs hacking, but not quite as good. So it is what it is. It's fine. Once I understood the systems, I understood how to exploit it, and I could now, by probably my 15th hour in the game, I could look at a room and the people would all die. And that works for me,
So much for the non-lethal run, eh?
No, I'm sorry. I misspoke. They would all be paralyzed. Incapacitated, yes. Because none of my stuff is lethal, actually. The contagion's not lethal, and the shocks are not lethal. So they just kind of twitch on the ground after I do it. So it's fine. It's fine. They'll be fine.
You don't see it, it doesn't happen.
So that's it.
Whatever happens after you leave isn't on you.
That's right. They cease to exist after I leave the room, anyways. That's how I live real world too. Watched the missus started a show called Bridgerton.
Everybody watched Bridgerton over the holiday break.
I don't know. I only watched like half of an episode because I love her, and it is fine. I had
I didn't cast binge the whole thing in a day and was laughing her butt off the whole time. So she enjoyed it.
My wife enjoyed it too. I watched The Social Dilemma again. Have you seen that yet, Matt?
No.
You really need to watch it. It's on Netflix. It's called The Social Dilemma. It is the most educational and terrifying thing I've seen in the last 20 years. So,
all right.
Is it movie or series?
Documentary.
So that's like a movie, but about real things.
Yeah,
right.
I know what documentary is.
Wow. Let's see. We have been watching Bull again. First episode, kind of weird, like half real, half this is a show kind of thing, because of the pandemic. And I was like, I'm not sure how I felt about that. But, I mean, I guess it's cool on one hand that they were acknowledging that period in time, but how's it going to age? It's a little weird, so yeah. I watched Wonder Woman 1984. I'd give it a 6.5.
That's more positive than most of the press I've seen, but yeah,
I mean,
that seems to be...
It has glaring plot holes. It has questionable choices. It has really... Like, I look at this, and I know that this is the Wonder Woman that Patty Jenkins wanted to make, and Jeff Johns is the co-writer with Patty Jenkins on it. And I look at this, and I see Jeff Johns nowhere in it. And I question, is this the movie she really wanted to make? Because it was supposed to be the one she's always wanted to make. Not good writing, I think, is the best way to sum that up. I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm not saying it's not, like, could you do better things with your hour and 45? Yes. But if you want to watch a Wonder Woman movie, then you get a Wonder Woman movie. Is some of it weird because of the writing choices? Yes. One thing is extremely weird. Like, even I was like, but, and then there's another, like, issue at the end of the movie where someone magically somehow teleports somewhere. That's bad. But other than that, I mean, if you can suspend your disbelief a little while, it's like, it was a fun little... It was still better than Batman vs. Superman. Let's put it that way.
It's a movie you turn your brain off and just watch.
Exactly. And you know, is it Pedro Pascal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that too, yeah.
You know, if you are a huge comics fan, he is not Max Lord. In fact, I wouldn't say that any of the people in this movie, except for the main two, have anything to do with their comics counterparts. So if there's someone you're expecting because you know their name and you know a little bit about their backstory, it's them in name only. That's it. And they kind of... It's weird because if you are familiar with Max Lord and Diana's interactions in the books, then that leads you to a logical conclusion towards the end of the movie, because if they've done anything like the books, then it's going to be interesting to see how they resolve that. So my best recommendation is forget the books exist, because they ain't going there.
Isn't that kind of the history of the DCEU movies? Is just kind of forget the books exist and you'll be better off?
Yeah, pretty much. Because, well, but yeah. But, I mean, at least Diana is...
Passable?
Diana is true to the nature of the character in the books, except for a writing choice that was made that is really weird, but that I can't talk about at all because it's basically the premise of the movie, and
right.
And it's like I'm kind of dying that I don't have, like, Dave just doesn't even want to talk about it. I know he's seen it, and he's just so depressed about it, he doesn't want to talk about it. But it's like, I want to talk about these things because they're weird. So, anyways, yeah, just weird writing choices, that's all. It was a fine, perfectly fine movie, and it, like you said, Keegan, if you turn your brain off and watch it, you'll enjoy it. If you start trying to pick at anything beyond the surface level of the movie, you're going to have a bad time. I wrote here, I watched another episode of The Mandalorian. At this rate, I should finish for season 3. I watched AEW Dynamite's New Year's Smash episode 1. This weekend, we are planning on watching Wrestle Kingdom, which happened mid-week. And I was really mad because AEW spoiled the end of New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom. It's a thing in Japan, but there's storyline reasons that connect Kenny Omega to people in New Japan, and so it was probably an innocent comment, but you know, it still told me the result of they're doing a double main event for Wrestle Kingdom, where basically at the end of night 1, Person A has 2 titles. They have the World Championship and they have the Intercontinental Championship. So one person has 2 titles. And they're facing Person B. Whoever wins of that one, A or B, faces Person C on night 2 for both belts as well. And they told me who won the end of night 2. And I was like screaming at my television, no, why would you do this? And yeah, anyways, very upset. But I'm still gonna watch it.
Spoilers for your sweaty man drama.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's basically the WrestleMania for Japan, so I'm gonna watch it because the wrestling is super great. Also, Jay White's contract is up with NJPW is up at the end of the month. Could we see him and Ibushi appear in AEW? I don't know, but I hope so. Not that you have any idea what I'm talking about or care. So there's that.
A little bit of an idea.
So-
I'm not
so-
completely ignorant. But
This is the only thing I want to say to you about wrestling, Matt. I know you were never on the wrestling bandwagon. I turned to Lexi.
I've always have friends who are, though. That is the weird thing. It's like I'm not, but I've always have friends who are. So there's some weird intersection there. Anyway, carry on.
I turned to Lexi earlier, I think it was last week, not this week. And I told her, I have been a wrestling fan since, I don't know, 91, 89, somewhere in there. So for a long time. But then they had this period called the Attitude Era, which was before the turn of the millennium. And since then, wrestling has not been good on television. Televised wrestling has not been great. And it has slowly declined over time. So for about the last, I don't know.
So is that post NWO? Is that when you're?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Post NWO. Well, actually, it was post merger of the two companies.
Okay.
Because then WWE bought WCW and
Right.
that was it. The war was over, and there was just the one company, and that's when I started delving off into the indies and Ring of Honor and the Japanese scene and started looking at Puroresu and all that stuff, and that's where I've been is kind of like in the alt fringes of wrestling for like the last 15 to 17 years, and when New Japan and the Elite formed, which were the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Bullet Club. That was, for me, the first time I've actually, something got my attention in wrestling. And then they came and they did All In, which was that crazy pay-per-view where everybody was working together. And then they made AEW. And after 1 year of being on television, I turned to her and said, I haven't felt this way about wrestling in probably 20 years. Because it's actually fun. I look forward to Wednesday night every night. It's the only thing we watch on live TV. Everything else is Hulu, Netflix, whatever. That is the one and only thing we have a dedicated, it's 5 p.m. Wednesday, it's time to watch wrestling kind of thing for. And so we sit down, we watch wrestling, we eat food, we laugh, we talk about it, and it was crazy because there was a big wrestler that died just 2 weeks ago, and so that 2 weeks ago was this
Brody
Lee, or Luke Harper if you knew him in WWE, or Big Rig on the indie scene, and he was one of Lexi's favorites. And this is the first time that she's ever had, somebody like that up and die, which, if you're a wrestling fan, that happens way more than it should because it's not unionized. It's not safe. You're dropping people on their heads and backs and necks and butts, for years and years and years and years. And they put their bodies on the line. It takes a toll, even though it's a fake sport. The acrobatics and the athleticism is real, and in New Japan, if those guys have a 30-year career, they're the exception, not the rule. Because those guys are dumping each other on their heads and their necks all the time, and it's crazy. And but at the same time, in Japan, they still treat wrestling as real. So that's right. It has this different feel about it. But yeah, so she was devastated. They did a great tribute show, probably like the perfect conceptualized tribute show that anyone could ever put on for him, and then this week we're back to normal wrestling, and it's a little hard for her right now to watch because she's not sure how to handle it. But yeah, that's everything that I've been up to, and then some, and then that brings us to Game of the Year discussion. Normally we do spreadsheets and tally it up and give a overall consensus for Gamersledge's Game of the Year. We're not going to do that this year. Matt, what was your Game of the Year?
I was just looking over it, and I thought I knew, and I was pretty sure I knew. And I think I'm sure now that I know, just re-reviewing the list of games that I played this year and making sure that everything that I marked as being this year was actually this year. Um, and I'm gonna have to go with Ghost of Tsushima.
That was this year too.
Yeah, it is this year.
That was this year too.
This
Yeah.
has been a really long year.
I mean, very, very, very on the heels of it are, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Last of Us Part Two. I mean, they're right there. I mean, it couldn't be, it's the photo finish. You got to see which horse stretched its nose across the line, just to get there. And then you still got Final Fantasy VII remake, Chapter 1, whatever
Yep.
you want to call it.
Yep.
So that's in there in the mix too. But Ghost of Tsushima it nailed what it was going for. I mean, it absolutely nailed the feeling, the evocativeness. If you watched that, did you finish?
I did.
Ghost of Tsushima? No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Um,
I've gone back to it a couple times, but to be honest, to be fair, the last few times I've gone back is for the multiplayer.
Oh.
okay. Which I haven't really messed with. I
played that one.
It's great. It's great. So
It's just long. It's a bit long. That was my only critique. It just,
Yeah, it's.
but yeah.
I enjoyed the story mode much more than the multiplayer.
But so I'll steer clear of pretty much most spoilers anyway. But there's a documentary that's part of the special edition or something. I forget exactly what it was, but they got a person who in Japan who was like a doctorate of this period in Japan, right? And so I mean he's not even harshing on it at all for the liberties that it takes.
yeah, I saw
The
that.
reality of that period. He's like, for a popular culture thing to be upon this history, which even in Japan is largely ignored. This is amazing to bring to light the fact that this conflict was, going on, and the game doesn't even really tell you how long that conflict went on for, but it went on for a long time. Overall, that was just one battle in the overall conflict. And they made up the characters, sensitivity to the culture and stuff. They were originally going to use real people from that time period, and they got steered away from doing that, which was probably, I'm sure, was a great, because it gives you creative freedom and the things that you do for video games. It doesn't get anybody's whatever and a whatever. But I mean, to be looking at trying to make, basically a Kurosawa movie into a game, and to hit it that hard for an American company, granted they were working with their Japanese, counterparts within Sony and everything, but still to just take something and that much love and create a game that is very, very, very few issues. I mean, it looked amazing. I played it on a base PS4.
Yeah, me too.
And it still looked amazing.
Right? Have you played it on the PS5?
I haven't stuck it into the
You
PS5
need
yet.
to. It looks so good, especially on my 4K TV. So good, so good.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. It just everything they did. I mean, it took them forever to come up with this game, but it was amazing. And to still be able to see the traces all the way back to Sly Cooper. Right, there are game elements and there are choices in there where you can see on Infamous, and you can see Sly Cooper in some ways. Well, and then there's the Sly Cooper gear in the game, but that's not a spoiler for anybody. But so there's some really obvious homages there. But to take all the elements of an open world that have come out in the last several years, and to be able to craft such a well done and emotional. The start to chapter 3 or act 3 is just gut wrenching. I mean, I don't think you've made it that far yet, but I mean, just it isn't even necessarily that significant, but the fact that it can tug on you that hard just speaks to what they've done in crafting this character in this world and this story. Is it a video game? Yeah, it's a video game. You know, you run into the same five Mongolian guys a thousand times on the road, you know. So, you know, yes, is it a video game? Is it hard? No, I don't think it's hard.
Hmm.
Is there a element of a Soulsian type combat system there? There are elements of that, yes. And there's a timing. And if you don't respect the timing, you will die. Odds
Unless
are
you're
you will
Mitchell.
die in this, unless you're Mitchell, yes, in which case
Then he can just smash everything.
but you know it is an amazing feat that they pulled off there with that game to tell the story that they did, to do what they did and respect that period. And you know, before the whole COVID thing, or even with the whole COVID thing, you know, I think there's a whole tourism kind of business that kind of sprung up around the game. You know, it did just that, you know, hey, you can visit some of these locations because some of them are real locations. You know, you can go to these. I looked at it on Google Maps and it's like, oh, hey, okay, I can follow the shape of the map, and oh, hey, there is a temple there, and you know, and this and that and the other thing, you know. So but yeah, that game really, really, really got me. And that's, you know, with the end of Spider-Man almost making me cry. You know, this one still ekes it out in the end.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Keegan? What's your game of the year?
So I was originally going to say Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
but then Dave brought up that Ghost of Tsushima was this year, which I completely forgot was this year, and I think I have to agree. Ghost of Tsushima was just amazingly put together. The story, the way you develop with the characters, you connect with them. And I tried to play that game one way, but after the third act, I couldn't ignore the character development. I couldn't play the game that way anymore. I had to shift.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like it wasn't my game anymore. It was the story.
Which some people would see as a downside, but to me, that's the strength of the game that compelled you to say, you know what, no, this is where this game is going, and this is what I have to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
respect of how much power the story had to pull me into.
Yeah,
This is the character, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely yes. It's just so well done. And there were plenty of things to do on the map too, so it wasn't like you were ever bored and sitting on what to do. There's always something, and it was just you didn't get bored playing it.
And I think it avoided the one trap. I didn't mention this before. I think it avoided the one trap that a lot of open world games go, is the longer you go into it, like the more stuff there is to do.
Right.
They kept it at a very, very controlled pace. And I think the last actually the shortest, which is the third act, because you're trying to get to that climax of the story.
Right.
And they didn't overwhelm you with a bunch of stuff on the map just to take up time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think they really, really nailed the structure on that one.
Yes.
Well,
Yep.
I will say that my honorable mentions for this year are Ghost of Tsushima, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, the first
that was this year. Wow.
yeah, the first 25 hours of The Last of Us 2. Dark Souls Remastered, and Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Dave still, every time I'm playing Phoenix, Dave is playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah. I mean, I have determined that there is not enough to keep me in that game, but I get it, I guess is the best way to say, and I have not gotten it for how many years. But I get it. But I do have to say that my game of the year is 100% Final Fantasy VII Remake, Episode 1. they good Lord, I am so scared for the second one because they didn't mess this up, right? But it's not done, and so I'm afraid, there's still so many unanswered questions just about character progression. How's that going to work? We don't know. We won't know.
It's
for
the
a long
weird
time.
combination between fear and hype.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That is exactly correct. I mean, this game had so much hype, and it would have been so easy for them to fail, but instead they very well thought out how can we appease the fans of the first one, but also make this accessible for new players, but also keep the original fans guessing because things don't happen exactly the way they should. And I thought it was, from top to bottom, graphics, music, character development, the story, the unexpected story, just from top to bottom, I can't think of a better game that's almost really a sequel rather than a remake.
It's definitely got a weird. I know the ending turned a lot of people off.
Not me.
No, I'm not one of them, but I have talked to several people that the ending really, really, really turned them off. But I'm very, very interested to see what they do with this. Again, yeah, you're right. It's going to be, I mean, as easy as it would have been to screw up part one, it's even easier in some ways to screw up part two because they've kind of removed the limiters from themselves, right? I mean, the fact that they had such limiters on them for the first part really forced a creativity. I think that's what a lot of things sometimes miss is they miss that limits force creativity.
Yeah.
And sometimes we forget that. And that's why every time you see a sequel in a series, in the book series, the books go from this to this, to this, to this, to this, and it's just like, somebody tell them there's a word count limit, please. So it's an exciting time to see what they're going to do with that. Square seems to be on a bit of a run at the moment, so we're probably not back to the Final Fantasy 4 through 8 heyday yet, but we're as close as we've been.
What? Yeah, Octopath Traveler.
We're as close as we've been.
Yeah. I'd say that's very true. And I am super excited about it. But I mean, you're not wrong about Ghost. Like, I do not disagree with anything you've said about Ghost. The only reason for me is that those are new characters that, while cool, I am not already attached to them in the way that I was this story. And that's really the big reason for me. It's not that it's bad writing. I like those characters, but I don't have a 25 to 35 year history with those characters. And
and
I do need to still go back and try to get the platinum on that game too.
I do too.
I need to finish
7?
7 remake.
Oh wow.
I'm barely anywhere in it. I completed the mission right after the bike fight.
Okay. Well, you're a good ways in.
You're a good ways in. Yeah, that's not bad.
Okay. I thought that was much earlier than that. I felt like that was pretty early in the game.
I don't know, Matt. Do we have any real news?
I found a few things. I did find the Catherine Zeta-Jones casting that I talked about earlier, and actually, it's in season 2 of Prodigal Son. So I will be seeing that. That's why it was interesting to me, because it's a Prodigal Son is it's a silly little procedural show that we've all enjoyed. So we'll be taking on season 2 of that.
I do have a piece of news. So before you read them all, that way I get my one in. Don't forget, today on Disney Plus, Marvel Legends drops.
Oh yes.
And
Yep.
WandaVision starts next week.
Next week, the 15th. Yes.
Yep.
Super excited about that. That was actually going to be my closing thought, but since we brought it up now, I'll come up with a different one. But yeah, it's super excited for WandaVision. Really excited for that whole lineup of stuff coming out of Marvel and Disney there. But yeah, we'll see. And this will be an interesting one. This one will set a tone, I think, for Phase 4, and I think I'm liking the tone that's getting set, but we'll see. There was a news article that popped the last couple of days about Microsoft trying to buy Nintendo, not once but twice, and both times pretty much literally getting laughed out of the boardroom. So,
oh my!
Anybody that thinks Nintendo's gonna stop what they're doing anytime soon and then become a software only or work for one of the other big two, that's not happening.
They more or less have a monopoly on the mobile side of gaming.
Well, the handheld, not mobile.
Yeah, handheld.
Mobile involves phones, but
okay.
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. Handheld gaming is that they pretty much are the kings of it, and the Switch is a bit of a brilliant product.
It is
in many ways. It just doesn't fit my personal lifestyle. So that I don't get that part. But Dave, who plays 98% of his time on the toilet, it's perfect for him.
Right.
So Borderlands movie, which is a thing that I think everybody forgot is a thing, will start filming soon in Budapest. I didn't know they film movies in Budapest, but apparently they film movies in Budapest. Xbox has sent out a survey to select Series X owners to see if they would be interested in a controller with PS5 DualSense type features.
I don't get that, because isn't the answer always going to be yes?
There's a lot of people who haven't actually experienced it that think it's, unnecessary bloat and battery drain and this, that, and the other thing. I would not know why you would answer. Yeah, it seems like you'd want that option, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, when I started playing Spider-Man Miles Morales, that's really the only. That was the first game I played on the PS5 and had that haptic feedback. At first, I felt it and was thinking, this might be annoying. But the more it goes into it, the more it just kind of feels natural. It makes sense. It envelops you in the game, in the web swinging.
Super stoked to see what Insomniac does with Ratchet and Clank with that.
Oh, yes.
Because I think that is going to be over the top.
I think we know from the video already our eyeballs are going to bleed from all of the effects and nuts and bolts on the screen.
Bleed with rainbows.
And glass and rainbows and
it's so pretty! Ah!
So, but yeah, I think that is, at playing the first thing doing, being platinuming Astro's Playground and just taking that and seeing what they did with that. And that was the controller turned up to 9, right? I mean, that was it, or 11, I should say, rather, right? I mean, that was everything as hard as you could, all the features. It was a showcase.
No, there was one thing it was not. The charged shotguns in Fortnite.
It wasn't the I am having a stroke simulator.
That is correct. It was not the, oh my God, I've lost the feeling in my hand because I can't pull this trigger. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they accidentally did there, but I have to assume.
I found the setting to turn that down too, by the way. Finally.
I assume the reports of broken controllers on the trigger is from that game because that little motor is pushing back so hard on that trigger. But then doing that and then going to Spider-Man, which was just sublime. It was not in your face, but anyone that said it didn't make a difference, I challenged them, turn it off, it all off, and then tell me that was not a part of the experience that you didn't even realize you were having. Because I did that just to see, okay, these are pretty subtle. Is this really an impact? So I went and I turned them off. Oh yes, it's an impact. It affects your timing of the game. It gives you a physical feedback on timing and when to do things. That before you maybe have had an audio or maybe you'd have a some bit of rumble type effect. But you get it in the triggers, you get it in the haptics, you get it and you get it audio too if you've got something coming through the controller audibly. I was surprised at the amount of audio from that game that's coming through the controller if you leave the defaults on. It's almost a sixth speaker if you have a 4.1, 5.1 surround sound setup. I never played it on headphones, so I don't know how that sound transitioned to headphones. But yeah. Anyway, sorry. Why were we talking about this? I forget. Oh yeah, because of the haptic feedback article for Xbox.
We went on a tangent.
Yeah, I went down that hard.
That never happens on this show. What are you talking about?
No, never. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. That
Physical
game that was
edition.
on and then disappeared and then is back again is now getting a limited run by Limited Run Games physical edition.
Yeah.
Dave should be buying all of them, I think. So,
I mean, he needs one for each of his 92 different mobile.
this is true, and that is a solid beat 'em up game. I never finished it, but it was a solid game.
I never finished it either, but it was a solid game. It was.
And fit the aesthetic of both the movie and the comic. More the comic than the movie, but
more the comic. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I did.
So yeah, that was all I found in the time I spent looking while we were doing things and starting the show and everything.
There is not a deal in place with Duracell, and that's why Xbox controllers still uses batteries. So dumb.
Hey, we gotta have our hypotheses for everything. Let me see. There was the Kevin Feige Star Wars movie, which everyone forgot was a thing, is getting written by the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and the Loki writer. So yeah, I'm a little surprised he's not taking lead writing credits on his own, but he's not really a writer. So yeah. That is an interesting thing that individual whose name I completely forget, and I'm not seeing it in the summary of this article. But yeah, that guy's getting some solid time there. In weirder news, the emergency COVID stimulus also includes a provision that the DoD has to release all information regarding its investigation into UFOs.
Okay.
Probably will never happen, but it's there.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton is the DCEU Batman. He's the main man. He is the prime Batman.
Are you sure? Because I thought I had seen something saying that was not necessarily the case.
Yeah, that's the way it's being played. Whether or not it actually plays out or not, but the indication from people within the Warner Brothers studio were indicating, and then one of them flat out said in a tweet that Michael Keaton was the main Batman. Whether that actually plays out or not, I don't know, but we'll see. It's an interesting thought. And then this will be interesting for both you and I think, Mark. Nier Automata's final secret had been revealed.
I saw
a cheat code that lets you skip the game.
Well, yes, but that's just so that you can play it again. Yeah. But there was another piece of news I did not include in the feed because it was so niche. I didn't figure the final Street Fighter 2 alpha code was actually just found that lets you play as Shin Akuma. And what had happened was there was a guy who was reverse engineering the code for the game, like as a project. Mm-hmm. And as he was examining the data in the real game, he realized that there was a combination. It's real messed up. It's like you got to use controller 2 while both controllers are plugged in and hold down a keyboard, a combination of buttons and start and something else. And if done exactly correctly, then the second player can play Shin Akuma. But it is an actual code that no one ever figured out.
Oh, wow.
And that's from the Super NES. So, yeah, I thought that was right up the same alley there.
Yeah, wow.
And it was
that
interesting
one.
that they were found like within a day of each other, near,
nice.
and then the Street Fighter one. I'm like,
Well, that one's way more impressive because people have had a lot of time to dig on that game.
A lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know if anyone's watched. We haven't mentioned Cobra Kai season 3 launched yet. I haven't dug into it yet, but that's out there too.
Still haven't watched any of them yet.
You haven't watched any of it yet? Oh my gosh.
Go watch the Cyberpunk 2077 review on by I think it's Girlfriend Reviews. Stand by one.
This video is sponsored by.
Yes, I know the video is sponsored by Squarespace. Take me to YouTube so I can. Yes, Girlfriend Reviews. Thank you. Okay. Which is not actually the girlfriend reviewing it. It's actually the boyfriend reviewing it, and he owned.
UPS man is here. The UPS
Marvel.
Man is here. The UPS man is here.
That would be our dogs. Our dog did not like the UPS man.
He doesn't like anybody that visits. It's the boyfriend, and the boyfriend only reviews when he has something to say. And I do not need to write a review for Cyberpunk 2077 because what he says is perfect. So there's that. There are other things that we need to talk about. I know it. I thought for sure. I swear I put something on the site, but I don't know what it was. Okay, there's that one. Come on now. Really? All right, I'm guessing there is no other. Oh, no, there was one thing. No, that was from November. We've covered that. All right. I've gone far enough back that I do not see any further news. So.
All right.
That then brings us to the part of the show where we like to thank everyone for supporting us and actually show all of our patrons and Twitch supporters. So let me make sure it is high enough in the stack that it actually works. Let's see what we got. So, first of all, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button on Twitch. You'll become one of our rock stars there. On YouTube, hit the like, subscribe, or of course the bell icon to be notified when you upload new content, which is almost every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. And of course, patreon.com/Gamersledge is another way that you can get your name on every single show that we do for as little as $1 a month. So thank you to all of our Patreon and Twitch producers, Justin, Naomi, John, Regina, Lexi, Ramy, Michael, Mark, Eric, Tim, John, June, Pat, Dave, Tracy, Michael, Nick, Matt, Dave, Kevin, John, and Arturo. Thank you all very much for supporting the channel. That's going to bring us to final thoughts. Keegan, final thoughts for the week.
I'm going to let you guys know how what I think of Persona 5 and keep chugging away at that. The hundreds of hours that I'll have to put into that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Gonna finish it before you go to school? Back to school?
probably won't finish it, but I'll try. Very unlikely, though.
Matt, how about you? Final thoughts.
Final thoughts is the High Republic, right? That's the name of the thing. I should have looked it up before. Star Wars: The High Republic, I believe. Star Wars: The High Republic, which is a multimedia blitz event thing that's going to go over the next couple of years, covering a period of time approximately 200 years before the Star Wars you know and love launched. I have not gotten my books yet. 2 books launched, a young adult novel and a regular novel, and the first issue of the comic book is sitting right over there, which has not been read yet. So I know Daniel's very interested in that, so we'll probably get some dueling perspectives on that. I'm guessing he'll get it all read before I do because I have a feeling he reads a lot faster than I do. but very excited about that. It's nice for them to have stepped into a new period. They kind of putzed around redefining what everything they wiped out was for a while there. And they had a couple of terrible series in there, which kind of made me give up on Star Wars books, which is weird because I have 2 entire bookshelves full of Star Wars novels and books. But so I'm excited to step into this and see what they did. The authors they've got working on this series are ones that I've enjoyed other stuff they've done for Star Wars and other media. So I'm excited to see that, and to find out more about Acolyte, which is kind of going to be the unofficial capstone to all this, which is the Disney Plus series, because it takes place at the end of this era that they're calling the High Republic. Very, very exciting time because it's something new. It's not, it's not to be bitter, but it's not trampling all over the old EU, right? It's setting itself up as something new, a new time period, a new sets of characters. And, it is, the Jedi are at the height of their power. The Republic is, coming up to the events that will lead to its eventual fall, but it's still right. It's there at the end of its of its height. So it's something that I'm excited for. Maybe not Mandalorian excited for, but I'm pretty excited for.
Cool. My final thought for this week is I got cool Christmas presents. I got a cool decanter that's got a ship in it up there, which might be hard to see. I'll take the lens off, the filter off. It's going to be really bright, but you can see the stuff behind me much better now. I got a Thanos. I hate doing 3 dimensions like that. I got all of 5th Ed, pretty much.
Nice.
5th Ed was something on the list, and then I got a cool PlayStation symbol light, but it, like the other ones. Oh well, let me put this back on because these lights show up better in that. So you can see I got a Shinra Electric Power Company one, and then I have, I think it's easier for me to pick this one up actually. I have a Enterprise as well.
Nice.
That can be swapped out for a Death Star. So
because that's the 2 things that people are both wanting at the same time.
That's exactly it. And I really liked it, and I got this cool. It's not a fig pin, but it looks like it could be Parappa the Rapper.
Parappa. Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then this thing lights up, but it's so bright.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like it's better off. So yeah, it stays off in the background right now. But we'll see once I get the right filter for my webcam. We'll see how that works. But yeah, it was a good Christmas, and I got lots of reading to do, obviously, and some board games to play. And Thanos is now Lord of the bookshelf behind me, so that's all you need to know. And we'll end the show as we do every week with a sage, or every time we get together, with a sage piece of wisdom to carry you through till the next time we meet. Matt.
Oh, Keegan's here. He's not hit very often.
Oh no, Matt.
Okay.
Huh.
Which knight invented King Arthur's Round Table?
I don't know, Mark. Which knight invented King Arthur's Round Table?
Circumference.
I like that one.
It's just nasty
I like
enough.
that one.
I kind of have to appreciate it, but still.
Until next time, make sure you check out our new Cyberpunk 2077 tabletop role-playing game. It's on Thursdays. The first 2 episodes. The first one's up on YouTube. Second one will be up on YouTube momentarily. But they're both on Twitch right now if you want to check those out. And we will be back on Monday with maybe Fortnite, maybe something else. Not sure at this point because it's supposed to be Baldur's Gate, but we've kind of exhausted Baldur's Gate, so maybe we go back to Divinity Original Sin with Ken and Sean. I'm thinking that might be the case, but we'll see. It might be Fortnite. It depends if I can wrangle cats. We'll have to see that part too. So, but that'll be at 7 p.m. Pacific or 7:15 Pacific, 9:15 p.m. Central, and 10:15 p.m. Eastern on Monday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, game on.
Game on.
Game on.
Or not.
Eventually. Come on, you can do it, computer.
You win again, technology.
This time.